Women for Gun Rights with your host, Amanda Suffecool, part of the DCProject.
Hey folks, welcome to the show, and I want to introduce you to my friend Lori Blackwell. So hey Lori, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi there.
Yay! Look at that. We have proof of life.
Excellent.
So Lori and I had filmed a show, and for some reason, as I'm learning this, we had no volume. So it was a pantomime. And so we're gonna do it all over again. And this time you will actually be able to hear me and her, and her part is so exciting that we really want to be there with that. So welcome to Women for Gun Rights, and Lori Blackwell is amazing, and she has so many different things that as we were setting this up, she said, so do you want to talk to Lori Blackwell, the pet vet? Do you want to talk to Lori Blackwell, the firearms instructor? How about the 3-gun shooter? How about the Second Amendment activist? How about the state leader for the DCProject? So those are all, and I believe that there are times when I have seen you work for different media as staff and support staff. So Lori Blackwell, all things Second Amendment, there is no doubt about it. But let's start out with, you're a veterinarian in Chicago or Illinois. I guess it's not quite Chicago, but it's close enough, right? So tell folks a little bit about that.
Yeah, I guess that's my real life or my initial life or professional life, whatever. It pays the bills most days. So I'm in the northern Chicago suburbs, do small animal now. I used to do a little of everything, but I always say my arms are kind of short for the cows, so that's okay. So I was told I was doing this today, so I'm still at work, but I threw on a DCProject t-shirt. My dog's running around here, so I apologize in advance if he barks or anything. But so I'm just in my clinic. We're closed, and so I snuck in the cat exam room, and we're going to make this work.
So we're in the cat room. There you go. So you, but I mean, you're not. There's different levels of vets, and you're like, my favorite thing is to do pet surgery. So you're like you're a surgeon. I mean, that's a big deal.
Well, I'm not a boarded surgeon, but that's my interest. I'm a general practitioner with an interest in orthopedic surgery. I think most of us just do what we enjoy doing or have an interest in. We do a lot of regenerative medicine here, which is stem cell therapy, that type of thing. So yeah, you have to kind of always be a student and learn things and keep it interesting. So
well, there you go. And you take care of our littlest children. There's no doubt about it. I mean, our pets are, well, he is my world, we'll just say, but
your dog, yeah, right?
Yeah, my dog is like a spring with fur. That's where that is. But and yours is like just one biscuit away from asleep, right?
Yeah, my dog Pork Chop, who's actually sniffing my knee right now, he's fine. I have one animal right now. It's a good balance. He's just a big goofus yellow lab, and I don't know. I always thought I was kind of a dog trainer, but I am not, apparently. So he's a good dog. He would never eat your children. He might run them over, but that's the way it goes. So that's
yeah. Okay, there is that. So, excuse me. The last time you and I saw each other, we were in Detroit. So why don't you fill folks in on why were you there? What were you doing?
Well, that gosh, it seems like that was summer. Was that July, August? When was that? Anyway, we went to Detroit to join Rick Ector's Legally Armed in Detroit event, where every year for the last several years he has taught increasing numbers of women in a quick one-day little clinic gun safety, and he welcomes outside instructors to come help do that. And so this was my first year of helping with that. That's my dog digging. Sorry. Oh my gosh. the that was my first year helping, and it was quite an event. It was really interesting to see them funneling hundreds of women through two different ranges. It was pretty incredible, really. So,
It really is. And he doesn't have a real creative name. I was like, what do you call this? And he's like, it's the women's shooting event.
yeah,
Okay.
I guess that is what it's called. I was trying to think too. It's like it must have a name. There were
No.
T-shirts, but he's awesome. I had never met him in person, and his helpers are awesome. And I'd never been to Detroit, so there you go.
So all of that was itself an adventure. Um,
Always.
so the DC Project showed up. We had, well, you and Rhonda from Illinois,
Hmm.
Rob and I from Ohio, then Steph from Nebraska. Was that it?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think so. That was the core group, yes.
Okay.
And then we had Marcy join us.
Marcy
Yeah,
from
from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So, yeah, so because the thing is that is an amazing event in the fact that it's introducing women to shooting and
Hmm.
women to guns and women to gun safety. And so anytime the DC Project or frankly any of us that are firearms instructors have the time and can come and help with an event that is that worthy. I mean, it really, he really calls a lot of instructors from a lot of places to come
Hmm.
and to help with that. It's because it requires a lot. I mean, I know Dr. John Adine was there from Texas.
Hmm.
Mike was there from Florida. Craig was there from California. I mean, there were instructors from every place. It
Yeah,
was pretty
big
amazing.
names too. Yeah, big names. People I'd never met in person. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, good stuff.
So that was good. But you have a reputation for being the traveler. Have gun will travel. I think should be your bumper sticker.
I like that.
So where do you go? Why do you go? What do you do?
Awesome. Well, where I live, Illinois, I mean, we're not a great gun state, but we're not as bad as New Jersey, so we got that going for us. The I got involved in three gun competitive shooting, and it's a lot of fun. But there's not a lot of that around here, and so you have to go to where things happen. And so whether you get on a plane or get in your car and put all your stuff together, that initiates a lot of it. Instructing, it's kind of a sideline of a sideline, but I'm involved with the Well Armed Woman, which is a national organization as well. So I really found that I enjoy teaching women, and it's certainly not my livelihood, but it's a passion. And so I started this FOMO firearm training, sort of as a joke and sort of not. But so this Sunday, actually, we have a defensive shotgun class with some women, and it's supposed to snow. Whatever. It's the Midwest. What are you going to do? So I told him bad guys don't just come out when it's 75 degrees and sunny. So hang on, let me beat my dog. Chop! He's just trying to get attention. And I guess he got it.
You got it. So
He got it.
tell Choppy's on TV. There.
Oh, great.
Oh well, dog trainer, you're not.
Heck,
Well,
let's do it live, right? Um,
exactly. That's how that works. So okay, so you were doing this defensive shotgun class this weekend,
mhm.
and I've taught at 11 degrees. That was kind of like, man, it is when you turn your
That
drink
is not my
over
goal.
and it's stuck, it's bad.
Nice,
It's really
nice.
bad.
That is not my goal. We don't have a lot of outdoor ranges here, and so when you are able to use an outdoor range to do the things you can't do in indoor ranges, we take that opportunity. But this will probably be the last one until spring, so
Until
that's okay.
spring. Okay, so
Yeah.
and I know that you teach, that you come to Pennsylvania and you teach with Armed and Feminine. So you'll
Yes.
travel around and bring your class to people.
Yes, I've done clinics there. I've helped her. She's helped me. Kelly Pigeon is what we're talking about, and she does that for a living and does a great job of it. So I'll come out one weekend in the summer, and we'll just do something outside everyone's comfort zone. She has great students. They're always she'll put like Blackwell class, and we don't even know what we're doing yet, and it sells out. So we every year we've had to challenge them. So I don't know what we're doing next year, but you know, we'll do something.
That is absolutely great. So your area of that you like to teach is the whole three gun or the shotgun, or where's your area of expertise or specialty or focus?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm licensed to teach our concealed carry and all that, but there's a lot of people that do that very well, and do it all the time, and so that's not my passion, I guess. Usually if I have someone that asks me when I'm having a class, I'll steer them to someone that I, trust and believe in, and trust them with my friends. I guess I like teaching things that they just don't get to try a lot of. So in our
Mm-hmm.
ladies groups, most of them you start with pistol, and sometimes that's as far as their interest lies. But invariably, if we have an AR class or even just a clinic, a gun buffet where we bring things for them to try, and if they love it, great, they'll do more, and if they don't, at least check it off. They try to
Mm-hmm.
rifle.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy that stuff. Having people push their comfort zone a little bit, and that's how that all starts. You have a pistol, and then maybe you have two pistols, and all of a sudden they're not asking their husband, but they're talking to their husband about, we need an AR. And it's like, most of them are like, yeah, great. So I don't know. I enjoy doing things a lot of people don't do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I know
it's more
that
fun.
you and I together took an AR class, and
Yes, we did.
it was amazing because that's not my area of comfort at all. And so
You did great.
I was like, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. But I come and I was like, this is what I have, and you're like, well, you need a sling and you need this, and hold on a minute, okay, let me, and and you all just magically it pulls out of this pile of stuff that you've got, and so you were hooked up, I was hooked up, and everybody else was hooked up. It was pretty amazing.
You showed up with your white and pink AR. It was very cute.
Uh huh.
What's its name? What's its name?
Pinky. It's not very
Pinky.
creative, but there you go.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good. You did fine with Pinky. You rocked it. Were we the
Well,
only girls in the class? I think we were. That's okay.
I think we were, I hardly even notice that
I
any
know.
longer,
I
you
don't
know,
either.
because there are enough women that I feel that I'm part of a group, and yet at the same time the men are very open and welcoming, and so I don't feel like I'm excluded from the people group. So it
Right.
kind of works.
Agreed.
Yeah. So you were on a TV show.
Uh huh.
How in the world did you and a couple of your friends decide? What was the journey to say, I think that I am going to try my luck at a reality TV show that includes shooting
I'm
and
going.
camping and all kinds
Uh
of
huh.
stuff?
So,
Yeah.
so let's see. So, in a nutshell, there's a show that was on for 9 seasons, 10 seasons, called Ammo and Attitude. That I don't know if anyone's heard of it, have seen it. I don't know how big it got. Not very big, but I knew several. As you get in the gun community, I knew several people that had done the show and hadn't really thought about it one way or the other. And one year, one of our shooting friends was saying, "Oh, you girls ought to do it. You ought to do it." She was apparently a paid recruiter for the show. Come to find out. And so three of us, myself, Susan Hansen, and Kim Johnson, who are all good friends and DC Project gals, and three gunners, and I don't know. It was kind of like, I'll apply if you apply, and it's like, well, we're not going to get chosen. Well, I think we're the only ones that applied, but so there were six of us. So three of us got chosen. We knew each other, and then we met three other gals. And so we went on this show, and in years past, like, people won pickup trucks and things. Well, I think the budget was gone by this point. I mean, it was fun. It was a good experience. It was in Texas in July, and we stayed outside in tents. And that I knew that going in, and I'm not that girly of a girl, but it was pretty darn hot. In one gal's tent, she had a thermometer, and it was 130 degrees. So anyway, it was a show that in years past, it's a shooting show, but it could include anything. It could include riding a horse, or archery, or pork chop. Stop it. Or one year I was horrified watching the previous years. They were in like a CrossFit gym and climbing these things. It's like, oh God, I'll just forfeit, because they had to. It wasn't good. But thankfully, the year we went, it was all shooting and not much running, so that was a blessing. So I don't know. We hung in there, and Susan and I were the finalists, and I ended up winning it. I'm not really sure how that happened. She could beat me nine out of 10 times, but I happened to win that time, and we had a ball. It was bizarre. They kept trying to. I don't know if any reality show has anything to do with reality, but they kept trying to stir up controversy, and they had a guys version of the show too, called, I don't know what it was called, something. But maybe they had more drama on that one. But they'd be like, "Well, what are you going to do? And how do you think you can take her down?" And we're all like, "Well, she does a great job, and I respect her." They couldn't get us to be catty or mean or anything. So I think we were probably not very exciting to them, but that's okay. We were staying on oh, not Chuck Connors. Who's the guy in Texas? Tough guy. Now he's with the NRA. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Anyway, we were on a ranch. He owns there's a water company. I'll think of it in a minute. But he wasn't there. He wasn't there, of course.
He's part of the NRA, and he's a tough guy.
Yeah, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris.
He's a rep for Glock. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. So
there. Okay,
anyway,
so Chuck Norris.
NRA, Glock. Yeah, one of those.
One
So
of those.
anyway, yeah. So I guess we thought we were going to see him. No, he wasn't there. But anyway, it was silly. It was in 2018, I think. Yeah.
Well,
So
I think it's cool that it's silly, and I think it's cool that you went out, that you're so far out of your comfort zone to say, well,
correct.
let's do this, because I don't think that you can do 2A advocacy. I don't think you can reach people if you stay in your comfort zone, because then that's you're on your sofa with a drink in your hand. I mean, you're not out doing, and you are out doing stuff everywhere. And so
Trying.
that's the part of the TV show that the part of the story that I really appreciate, is the fact that you were out there, you tried something different, you tried something new, and you go from there. So yeah.
Check it off.
Check that off the box. Okay, so let's go back to talking about traveling. How do you travel with a gun?
It's funny because when you travel with just a pistol, it seems like nothing now. But every airline, well, there's national requirements, and every airline might have on their website. Well, they may have certain specific things they do, and the first time you do it, of course, it's kind of nerve wracking, but it really isn't a big deal. I would just add an extra half hour. Usually you have to do something with TSA, either wait for them. They have the right to examine your bag. You have the right to be there. But it's actually pretty easy. It's not a big deal. When you travel with, long guns, you have, instead of having a little box inside your check bag, you have, my 3-gun case itself weighs 25 pounds. And then if you kind of learn, you put your 3 guns in there, and, I can put 3 guns, maybe 2 magazines, 1 box of shotgun ammo or something, and it's 49.8 pounds, So you'll do anything, I usually fly Southwest because you get 2 free bags. But you get kind of good at it. And, most of the time, they're just doing their job. They're not there to give you a hard time. And, sometimes, you just try to be a good steward, good representative of the shooting community. And, you walk up in the morning, and, you have to go to full service, and you just say, good morning. And, I need a firearm declaration. It's just a little postcard you sign. And usually they're used to it. Sometimes if they're new, you can tell they got to think about it. And you just help them out. Yep, I'll sign the little card, and they're like, yeah, the card, But I've had nothing but good experiences. The at Midways, where our Southwest flights come and go to in Chicago, the same guy is always there, and I even sold him raffle tickets once to our DCProject rifle raffle. And so when I was flying to Texas, he's like, "Hey, this is cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're raffling it, really?" And I'm sure they're not supposed to do this. And he like slides me $20, and I slide him a ticket. And, you're not even really allowed to have one in Chicago, but I told him that. He goes, I got it. It's like, okay, no worries. And so he didn't win, but we got $20. So there you go.
There you go. That's too cute.
But you get good at it. You just have to allow time.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose if someone's going to steal your stuff, it could happen. But I just try not to think about it. Some people are like, oh, I'm going to mail it to myself. Well, I'm not sure that's any safer either. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that big a deal.
So okay, so you fly there, and then at the other end, you just grab your bags and away you go, right? To the rental car, or to the Uber, to whatever, and
Yep.
away you go.
Yep. I usually, I'm trying to perfect, mooch off your friends all over the country. So
Oh,
usually I can have someone pick me up, or I'm staying in their camper, or, whatever. Because it gets expensive if you're going to, I have friends that do these big matches every month. Well, good for them, but I can't afford that. But, when I say go to a major match, meaning get on a plane and spend the money, and, maybe a couple of those a year. And the rest of them are drivable,
mm-hmm.
so. But it's cool.
Okay.
It's fun. If anyone wants to, learn about it, I'd be glad to help them with that.
So when you go to do like a 3-gun event that's drivable,
Mm-hmm.
do
Mm-hmm.
you have to pay any special attention to any of the laws on the way? What do you do there?
Well, good question. I'm surrounded by much friendlier gun states than the one I live in.
Mm-hmm.
But in Illinois is there's laws. The laws are, if you have a concealed carry permit, then you can do whatever. If I didn't have that, like a lot of places, you'd have to travel. Your guns can't be in within reach. They have to be, locked up, unloaded. But yeah, that I guess that doesn't apply here. And then I've never driven anywhere where it would matter. If you were going into a match in California or New Jersey, New York, who knows? I suppose you'd have to follow their mag restrictions. I'd have to ask locals about that. What are the
So
odds you'd be caught?
so
I
they
wouldn't want to be.
typically don't put a match in those type states for that reason. So the people
I
come
would imagine.
from those states, they don't go to those
Correct.
states. Got it.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct. If you were coming to Illinois and coming to a competition, you're not going to drive around with your, 13 rounds in your shotgun anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You could come. It would be very easy for you to follow the law and get here. So it's not that big a deal.
Okay, so you've been shooting 3-gun for how long?
I was a late bloomer. 2014, I think, is when I started. Yep.
When
And you're
did
out there running around with people that these young kids that can bend and run and scamper around, and you know it's a lot of fun to be the middle-aged lady out there with the kids, but that's okay.
I'm all about if I'm somewhere not the last person, I'm good. Yay, middle of the pack, right?
Oh,
What's
middle's good. Middle would be good in some of these places. Yes.
what's your goal? Middle of the pack.
Mediocrity. Yes.
Exactly. So what else does anybody want to know or should know about thinking about 3-gun as they decide that, because it's pretty easy to find the matches, go to the matches, drive to the matches. All it takes is guns and money, right?
Well, that helps. I always tell people we just took some three beginners or three not new to shooting but new to 3-gun to a local match Halloween day. We all were in costume. That was good. Just don't go buy a bunch of stuff, because you're going to have a pistol. You can borrow a rifle. Anyone will load you a shotgun. See if you even enjoy it. There's no point in spending money. It's a very gear intensive sport, or it can be.
Mm-hmm.
because then you kind of like it, and it's like, oh, if I only had this, it's like, well, it's not going to make you run faster, but I mean, there are upgrades you can do, but yeah, usually the advice is, try it. People say, oh, I'm going to go watch. Well, you can watch, but you might as well just do it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
everyone's very welcoming, the shooting sports, especially three gun. You just tell them that you're new and you're a rookie, and everyone wants to, oh, don't use his shotgun, use my shotgun, that kind of thing. Everyone will be welcoming. If you're, just be safe, have fun. You're either going to be hooked or not, and it's okay. You're going to be nervous your first match, whether you're doing IDPA or three gun or whatever. But yeah, of the three gals I took, I think 2 out of 3 probably were really into it, and the third, I don't know. We'll see. But everyone was safe. I think they had fun. For the most
Uh-huh.
part. But yeah, just don't buy a bunch of stuff. Borrow, see, because they say run what you brung. And so it doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
if you have a pump gun or, any kind of rifle. I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
Just come do it.
Just
Yeah,
jump in.
got it. So yeah, we tried USPSA that way, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what do you need? And so magazines in your pockets and a gun in your holster, and you start there, and then
Yes.
it's a good way to start because you're not gonna. Some of these guys are very spry and good runners and
Yeah.
very strategic, and so you're not gonna win. You're just gonna be in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Just try it out.
Right. So, about how many matches do you go to a year?
Oh, I'd say, a couple where you get on a plane, and then Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, maybe 4 or 5 local ones,
Mm-hmm.
local meaning you can drive there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, 8 or 9 hours is plenty. Apparently, I'm a wimp. I shoot with all these Southern gals. It'll be like, oh, and they all have campers. Oh, it's only 16 hours. I'm going. It's like, oh my god. So I don't know. I'm just a baby, I guess. But yeah, the whole uh, Georgia, Carolina, Florida, that
Mm-hmm.
corridor has a lot of matches. It really does. And
Okay.
then there's big ones, then there's the bucket list ones you'd like to try. There's a lot out west, and but sometimes it's a big commitment. I'm the queen of long weekends. I can get away for a long weekend. It's tough to get away. Some people travel for 3 weeks at a time and do all this. I can't do that at this stage in my life. But you know, God bless those who can. Or sometimes they'll have a job you can work on your computer, or you don't have to be in a building or whatever.
Right. And
That's I can't do this life remotely. Not really.
no,
So
people are going to bring Fluffy to you. And so,
right, yeah, it's kind of hard to do a lot of things over the computer. So that's okay.
exactly. Exactly. That is pretty cool. So, because you're part of the DC project and because you're from Illinois,
Hmm.
what challenges does that bring to you?
All of them. Poor Illinois. I haven't given up on it yet. Um, Illinois has 102 counties, and 100 are fine. East St. Louis and Chicago. And I don't mean race. I don't mean politically. I mean just everything. That's that's where all the problems are. Tax and crime and all the challenges, right? Um, but there's, as far as the Second Amendment goes, there's a lot of, it's kind of like California. Not all of, California. If they didn't have LA and San Diego and San Francisco, I think there's a lot of, Second Amendment loving people. But it's hard. And now with COVID, I think the excuse that's just another excuse for them not to meet with us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've been trying this a long time, and we've had yet to be able to actually meet with Senator Durbin and now Senator Duckworth. And I can't even I can't see him in D.C. They don't take appointments in the local office, and even my state reps. There's some that are back in the game and letting you come in. Most of them, they're not seeing people right now, and they're not meeting in Springfield at our capital right now. So, well, they are, but they aren't accepting, visitors.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel a little ineffective. That doesn't mean I've given up. by any means. We're starting at the state level now, and I've got some good people. They're kind of like soldiers ready to march, but I've got to get a plan for us. We have T-shirts, but that doesn't
I've
change
got a
what we're doing.
uniform. I'm ready to
Yeah, right.
go.
We're ready. Yeah, yeah, we have some thoughts, we have some ideas, but we're going to have to get through to some of these challenges. Rhonda Ezel in Chicago, um, she knows a lot of people, and she can't get these doors opened either. So we're trying, boss. We're trying.
Okay. I get that. And in Ohio is sort of the same thing, except we're actually having a conversation about constitutional carry.
Yeah,
So that
Pennsylvania too, right?
right, yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting thing. I tell people that Ohio is so brave that their goal is that if 39 other states pass it, Ohio will consider it. Right? That's they're like the Me Too state. Yeah, what are you guys doing? Yeah, me
Yeah, right.
too.
Yeah,
Right?
let's take a vote. And we've been a little sidetracked because I live 15 minutes from Kenosha, so we've
Ah,
got the Kyle Rittenhouse trial on, and that's a whole nother discussion. But there's just a lot going on around here. So
there really is. So you were close enough to that, and yeah, and they called it on Thursday so that they didn't meet on Friday because they didn't want to send the jury into deliberation over the weekend.
correct. They did meet today. Just the jury wasn't present. They just talked about the charges, and I didn't know you could just pick and choose all these charges. I thought that was in the beginning, but I'm not an attorney by any stretch of the imagination. I was even debating going Monday to the trial. I think you have to get there at like 5 in the morning, but I probably won't. I don't. But our Chrissy, our main technician here, she lives in downtown Kenosha,
Mm,
and you know, I mean, every city had their tragedies, but poor little Kenosha,
right.
again, that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, she thought her apartment was on fire because you could smell it, right? The whole place is
Mm-hmm.
burning around her. So she took her cat and went to her mother's. It's like, but just anyway, but it was, can I say shit show on TV? I don't know, probably not. But it was awful, and I think regardless of what the verdict is, I think it's going to happen again. I almost,
Yeah,
they said they were
that's
starting
that's
to blow it up already. So
that's the fear is that the repercussions that one team or the other isn't happy with the verdict, and so they are going to the town is going to suffer one way or another. I
it's,
think.
I mean, they should just call the National Guard in now. I mean, I don't know how
Right.
that works, but the poor police. When you only have X number of people.
Hmm.
So when this was all going on, they just ended up standing around the court, guarding the courthouse. But what they don't talk about during that, the whole Kyle thing. But what they don't talk about is during that whole event, there were people, pickup trucks and rifles at the opening of every subdivision and all these streets. I mean, they didn't, thank goodness they didn't have to make the news because nothing happened. But there were, and the town south of there is north of where I live is called Antioch, Illinois, and the protest was coming south, and it's all these people that are bussed in and driving around in cars with no license plates. And Antioch, another sleepy little town, they had, the cops came out, people boarded up, the regular citizens were sitting there with rifles on lawn chairs, and they passed. They did not come in, but that stuff doesn't make the news.
Mm-mm. No.
You know, and I don't know that it's vigilantism. It's just protecting your property and your town, and I mean, I know there's not a million police officers, but I just don't understand whether it's Chicago or Portland or Kenosha. The first brick, the first match, they should be hooked up and locked up. I know you can't lock up everybody, but I don't know why it's tolerated. So I won't
Right.
go down that path anymore. But
No, but I think that that's a very good point. Is that why is that? And so you're sitting there going, I'm a gun owner, and if I sneeze wrong, I am going to be vilified on the news, a la Kyle Rittenhouse. And yet on the other hand, somebody else is burning down a town and they're like, well, it's my free speech right. Well, I think that your free speech ends where my property starts, or,
Well,
you
for
know, that kind
sure.
of thing.
They'll say, "Oh, it's just a business." Well, they've never had a business, have they?
No.
Or it's like, it's your life, it's your livelihood.
Hmm.
And the sad part, people would come to visit in the summer. We'd do the tragedy tour, and I'd drive them around through there. There's like spray paint on the walls. You know, children upstairs. In other words, please don't burn down my building. That kind of stuff. And it's like, what country do we live in? Come on.
Right.
So I'm just afraid it's all going to happen again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what, what led up to it? I mean, what started it?
Um, a police encounter with a gentleman got shot that, as they say, probably deserved to get shot. And, he
Oh,
lived, he's in a wheelchair, it's a whole other thing. But it was a police
okay.
shooting.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
And,
And
yep.
so it,
The
it
end.
turns into that, the jury of public perception. And
Correct.
so the Facebook lawyers decide
Correct.
where people ought to. Yeah. Okay. That
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, I think I heard that, but it wasn't it wasn't Ohio, so I wasn't paying attention until
Well,
things
right.
started to
Everyone,
burn.
right. And, most people never heard of, Little Kenosha. I mean, it's just a town along the lake that, a lot of working people, the
Hmm.
downtown, over the years has slowly been fixed up. And it's just, little family owned shops. Um, Come on.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, let's move on to talk a little bit about this DC Project Summit. So you were in Florida
Hmm.
and
Yes.
got to meet some of the gals from a variety of other states. And
Hmm.
so, what were your thoughts?
That was a great event. I'm sorry you weren't able to be there. Your zoomed in thing actually worked really well. It was good because I knew a lot of the girls, but more than half, it was the first time meeting them and getting to know them. The directors and board kept us really busy, and I think it was really good training. I don't know, it went so fast. And the people that hosted us, Big Daddy Unlimited, that was a great facility. The conference room was top notch, and I don't know, it was great. It was great. As much as they packed in, I have like two notebooks full of notes. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great event. Hopefully, the money was well spent and got everybody energized.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it was
I
good.
think that's I had a good time helping put together what was in the swag bags, different T-shirts that people could wear when they go to
Yes.
DC or if they go to their state house, and things like that. And so it was fun right up until I couldn't go.
Got it. Yeah, and the transportation. I know the logistics were probably a challenge. You guys were good stewards of the money. We didn't need 20 different rental cars. So we carpooled, and that worked well. Um, yeah, I mean, I think we did as much as you can do in 2.5 days, for
Hmm.
real. So,
So did you make any new friends? Are there other states now that you're going to talk to or you're talking to that you
mhm.
haven't talked to before?
For sure. Sometimes you'll see a name on Facebook, and you think you know them, but you don't really know them. It's like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some really dynamic people there, and I feel privileged to be to be in a group with them.
Hmm.
People would go around and do a quick introduction. It's like, wow, this is, she's big time. So I think we all think we're a shadow of somebody else, but I suppose everyone does their own thing. But some people are quiet, but then you find out all the stuff they've done. It's like, wow. And then there
Right.
were some people that were brand new, and that's okay. I mean, we're all brand new eventually,
Hmm.
and asking good questions. And I think as an organization, we just have to decide where we're headed and what the goals are. And I think those were spelled out pretty well and gave us a little more direction. And yeah, it
Well,
was all good.
that's kind of the cool part about the DC project is it's really growing on the fly and it's growing fast. But
Hmm.
I mean, because it started in 2015, and here's where we are now. And so the ability to put 50 women in a room because they're representing each state and then organizing training and documentation and expanding the horizons so that they can be useful both in the state and on the federal level, and that they understand the differences and how it all works together was really kind of the goal.
Yeah, it worked well.
That's
It was
that
the
is that is good. So we'll be doing a fundraising effort, probably, I mean, coming into the holiday season, because they say that like 35% of all donations are made in like a 6 week window at the end of the year.
really
And
okay.
yeah, so there is that. And so if people see the value of what the DC Project does, then it's pretty easy. They can go to dcproject.info and make a donation. Um, and we're connected with a 501c3 also. So if you decide that it needs to be tax deductible, we can work with you on that too. So the DC Project, because the work that the DC Project does is pretty darned amazing, just in the overall scope of it. And this year, there were three, maybe four different women that testified in DC at the State House for different reasons on different topics, because they now know that they're well-spoken, professional, pro 2A women who they can just reach out and say, I need someone to help me sway the rest of the House or rest of the Senate or rest of the committee. Are you interested in coming? And so those invitations are absolutely priceless.
Gold.
They really are. So is there any other thing that you think that our audience needs to know about Illinois, or about you, or about the DC Project?
Well, don't be afraid to come to Chicago. Yes, it's, I always joke that other than the taxes and the corruption and the crime, it's actually pretty awesome. But Chicago is a great town.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I'm not done. And Illinois is not just Chicago, but
Yeah.
I'm not done fighting for it yet. But I think we need all the help we can get. Um, it's the insanity definition. People vote for the same people, and nothing's ever going to change unless you make changes. And so, we're all trying to do what we can do. It's hard not to get burned out sometimes,
Right.
but yeah, there's challenges on both sides of the aisle, and all, in every corner, believe me. But we're trying over here. But if anyone wants to come to the city, I would be glad to show you around.
Okay.
You can eat any kind of food, any time of the day or night. Um, you can go on a river cruise and hear 15 different languages. I mean, it is an international city. But like I said, I'm not ready to give up on it yet.
No, and you shouldn't be. So there's hope. Where there's life, there's hope. And and it's hard to beat name recognition. And so once somebody gets to a certain level, people will vote for them just because they know their name, because they're in
Correct.
the news. And so
Correct.
that is almost impossible to try to overcome. And so that's why they elect the same people over and over. And then people
Correct.
also want to vote for a winner, and so they think if they won last time, they'll win this time, so I might as well vote for them because they're going to be the winner.
Yeah, and there's candidates that run unopposed, which is amazing to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do about that?
Right.
So I have too many skeletons. I can't run, but I'm a better behind the scenes friend. I can help someone else run. So and I have tried. So
Well, and there's a lot to that, and growing a home team so that you start on a school board, or you start as a commissioner, or you start as a trustee, or and get your feet wet, and then you can go from there. But as long as we can find pro 2A candidates, then life is good. So you're gonna have to keep working on
that's right.
that in Illinois. So
Keep trying.
Lori Blackwell, I want to thank you very much for joining me on Women for Gun Rights, because I I am amazed at all of the stuff that you do and your attitude as you do it, which is it's all fine. We'll figure it out. That's good.
There's not a lot of choice. I mean, you got to make it happen. So,
And you do, and you really do. So, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving me your Friday evening.
yes, my exciting life. You're very welcome. Good to see you.
It's good to see you. Okay,
All right, take care.
signing off. We'll talk to you guys next
All right.
week.
This is Women for Gun Rights with your host, Amanda Suffecool, part of the DC Project.